I spent years desperately still hung up on an ex-girlfriend. It was humiliating that I was still thinking about her after so long. Even I was like, dude, I think it's time to move on. But I couldn't. It was like there was a part of me that was just frozen at that point in time, stuck in that relationship, and I couldn't seem to move past it. And this is a problem that so many guys get caught up in, that there is that one girl, that one relationship they had, the one that got away, and they can't seem to find a way to move past it. They're still thinking about her all the time. Every day she's on their mind, and they can't get past it, even though she moved on. Well, since that time, I've gone on to have amazing relationships, and I did get over that girl. And now I don't find myself caught up in these same problems of being obsessed with someone who doesn't want you. My name's Andrew Wilkinson, and I am a relationship and dating coach, and I help men all over the world get over that one they're obsessed with that doesn't really want them, and start to meet girls and have the relationships they want with the girl of their dreams. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why she moved on, but you can't. And firstly, it's because you're looking for answers that you're never going to find. Part of you is taking your head back constantly to this relationship in a desperate attempt to find meaning there, because you don't want to get hurt again. You don't want to feel that pain of having to miss someone. So if you can just find what that secret code is, if you can just crack it like it is some bloody Da Vinci code, then you'll never have to experience the pain again. So you're there searching your memories, trying to find what could it have been that broke the relationship down. Well, real life isn't always like that. Sometimes the answer is unsatisfying. Maybe it is that she just didn't want the relationship anymore. You weren't the person you were when you went in. All of these things play a part, but we don't find them satisfying enough, and it leaves us searching for these answers, obsessed with this point, stopping us moving forward and moving on. When in reality, all you need to know is she doesn't want to be with you, and you need to move on. That's all it is. I know it feels like an open loop, and I get it, because that's agitating, and that's what kept me frozen for quite a bit. I couldn't seem to close this loop of what went wrong. I didn't have the closure that would have helped, and that was such a problem. But learning to let go and just moving past and being okay with not knowing everything and putting yourself out there again and being brave is essential. Secondly, a scarcity mindset. I pose you this question. I know you're feeling this, like this girl that's still on your mind, she's still everything to you in your head. Well, what would happen if today you met someone and they seemed to be everything you were looking for? They were charismatic, they were funny in the way you wanted, they looked exactly how you imagined your most beautiful wife to be. How long do you think you'd still be obsessed with that other person if this person, this new person you've met, is also super interested in you? They really want to get to know you. They're excited to go on dates. So much of this obsession with the past, with this girl, comes from this mindset that she's the best you're ever going to have and you can't replace her. That's what it was for you. That was the pinnacle of your dating life. And you don't have any other options, that you've now gone from that relationship to just a barren desert of options. And this holds you back. And that is a problem, because a scarcity mindset will always undermine you, even if you got another relationship, because you then start to feel like this new person that's come into your life is the only one for you and you could never replace them. Being a person that knows they have something to offer the world, they have an attractive personality, and that doesn't mean that they have to then be beholden to this other person maybe liking them. Finding a way to unlock more of an abundance mentality, and maybe that means working on yourself, because maybe this girl is the pinnacle of your dating life. Like, that sounds savage, but the dating market is tough. And if you've let yourself go, maybe you're not the person that you were. Maybe you met her when you were at uni and you were like the life of the party with loads of friends. And now you do a mundane office job you don't really like and you don't have that many friends. Well, you aren't as attractive as you were before. And simply put, unless you decide to work on it, unless you work on yourself, you are going to end up obsessed with this girl because she was the best that you were going to get. And that's going to be difficult for you to overcome. Rather than just getting lost in this woe is me mentality of like, I'm never going to replace her, she was everything. Work on yourself. Become more attractive and start to meet people that you really like and you really enjoy. And you will start to just see this previous relationship fade into insignificance. Thirdly, this one's bad. It's harder to let go of something that you feel like was taken from you than something you openly gave up. So this is why sometimes it's super challenging that you feel like you've had something taken from you. You don't feel like you had a choice in the matter, and it feels like she's gone, she's moved on, she's dating other people, but you're still stuck there. And one of the most toxic mindsets that's very real that a lot of people get is getting caught up in this idea that if I could only win them back, then I could break it off and I'd feel so much better. And that leaves them stuck thinking of how they can win that person back simply just to end it again, which I am not advocating at all. It's just a reaction that people can have that's pretty toxic, that could be leaving you frozen in that point of desperate to get her back, because we are all fucking children at heart. You're the child on the playground who has had the toy taken from his hands. Actually, not even that. You're the child on the playground that has the toy taken from the side of them that they weren't even using, but now that other kid has that toy, and now you feel jealous. Now you want it back, and you've realised that that was what you wanted. Even though in reality, that's just all ego. And that's what this comes down to. There's a chance you've not moved on because you've wrapped up too much of your ego in that relationship with that girl and you're feeling bruised. So you have this sinister part of you that thinks, oh, I need to win her back so then I can fix my ego. Learn to let go. Let go of your ego. Take the L and move on to new pastures. Oof. Okay. You haven't filled the relationship void. So one of the problems men get into is that relationship probably meant a hell of a lot to them, because she might have been the only person that he could really talk to. If he doesn't have very good friendships or other supportive relationships in his life, this girl was it. And she's left, and now he's in this emotional turbulence with nowhere to look and nowhere to go. And he's just got this void inside him of that need to connect with people that he just hasn't refilled. That doesn't mean jumping into bed with someone new, but that just means having an actual supportive network around you of people you can talk to and people you can connect with. There's an idea that you can have 5 close relationships, and if you have a partner, they take up 3 slots of that. So then you can struggle to have 2 really close friends, any more than 2 close friends. Well, I like to invert that, and I say if you lose your partner, then you need 3 close friendships to be able to fill that void and replace it. And how many times have you been in a position where you've done that? Probably not many. We struggle with relationships as it is. Never mind filling in 3 new friendships at the point that you're emotionally devastated. But that's what it takes. Women already usually have this network in place of people they can talk to speak and process that emotional pain, whilst you're left with just no one to talk to, no one to be able to work it through. I think an example from my own life was, I once asked a girl out and I was 100% sure she was going to say yes. I was like, I'm going to ask her officially to be my girlfriend. And I was like, it's going to be fine. She's into me. It's all good. It came down to the day I asked her and she said no. And I was just like kind of rocked by this because I just wasn't expecting it. But the thing that didn't allow that to blow into some huge bloody shitstorm was the fact that through that week, I spoke to like 4 of my male friends, relationships I'd already curated, that I was able to have these discussions with on that sort of emotional, vulnerable level and talk them through. And it allowed me to just process it and just shrug it off a lot easier because I just being able to have that opportunity to speak it out and clarify it in my own mind with other people that cared about me. And that was just because I had those other relationships to fill that void. And maybe that's what you're missing. Do you have these other people to speak to? Do you have someone in your life you can connect with that isn't just that one girl, that one person you have that deep connection with? And that's why she's calling back into your mind, because you're missing that essential part of living, which is having deep connections with others. Okay. Next point. You were pursuing her validation. So another reason that you might be struggling to get over her, and the fact you're not really over her, has nothing to do with her. It was more to do with the validation that she offered you. Maybe you don't feel very good about yourself. Maybe you have that not good enough insecure sensation, but when she was around, well, she worked as the nicotine patch that paved over the cracks in your identity. And as soon as she was in the picture, all those insecurities just got a little bit quieter, just faded away that bit more. And because of that, you're incorrectly placing the sense of, I feel good enough about myself, onto this girl. So in order to now try and feel good about yourself, you feel like you need her, and that's just calling her to the forefront of your brain constantly, that she was the key, she was the answer. And it's not really the case. One of the things that you need to work on is that ability to self-validate. And I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh, you should only think of your own opinion of yourself and all this stuff. That's impossible, all right? We get validation from others. The issue is when that's our primary source of validation. You don't have that internal sense of self-esteem of who you are, what makes you you, and you outsource that to other people, and especially to a partner that then leaves. Because that's potentially what you're missing. She's missing how she made you feel, because she made you feel secure, that you were good enough. And now you don't, so you think you need her to get that, when that isn't true, and it will only lead your further future relationships to failure. So carefully identify, was it the girl? Was it how she made you feel? And did she make you feel secure when you're usually more riddled with those insecurities? Finally, maybe you're just still lonely. I pose this question to you that, imagine you are your own subconscious and you live in the realm of feeling and emotion, and you're truly lonely. You feel desperately alone and wanting of that connection. Well, if you're your subconscious, how would you try and communicate to your conscious mind, given that you have like image at your disposal? Are you going to constantly put images of pizza? No, probably not. You're going to communicate that time you didn't feel lonely. You're going to be putting up the images and the thoughts of that relationship. But the thing is, you're trying to communicate that you're a grown-ass man. Maybe you're in your mid-30s and you're single and alone. It's a natural reaction for your subconscious to be like, dude, we should have a partner. We should have a family. And the only way I can communicate this with you is probably just using the photo of your deepest connection you've had. So I'm sending up this message of like, dude, find a connection, but then you're just interpreting that as, oh, girl, I miss girl. And it's like, no, wrong interpretation. Like, that's not what we wanted here. It's like, oh no, we need connection, because that's what we need as people. And you're misconstruing loneliness with a desire to get back with an ex and to get her back. It was the wrong message. So truly think about, are you just lonely? It goes back to that filling the void of, are there relationships you're missing? It is completely normal to be a grown-ass adult and crave to have that intimate relationship. If we didn't have that programming, we would have died out. We just wouldn't have repopulated. Like, there is something inside of you that will always call out for you to find a partner, especially if you're in your like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, all through your life, but especially in that peak mating period. So don't get the message wrong. Like, it's not about her, it's about finding that relationship for you to have. Okay. And if you're wondering, how can you go out there? How can you start to find what you're missing? How can you start to have the relationships you really want to have? Well, there is something that you can offer, something that nobody is offering right now, and this will allow you to start to have the relationships and move on and not be caught up in obsessive, intrusive thoughts about this person, ruminating forever because you were able to move on and be attractive and connect with new people. Well, it only takes one skill, and I break that down in this video here, where I show you this one thing you can offer that no one else is offering, that will make girls become obsessed with you, and you will get the relationships you truly desire.